Here we have a slightly pre-owned 2023 Toyota Prius. This one comes in the XLE trim level, silver on black. For the powertrain, we get a 194 horsepower, 2-liter, 4-cylinder hybrid motor, and that's mated to a continuously variable transmission. Trying to get in between the wind gusts here, so just bear with me, please. Coming around the front end here, LED headlamps, LED daytime running lights. And I love the overall styling of this car. It looks so good. Very futuristic, and I feel like it finally goes with what the Prius has been for Toyota, just being a car that people have learned to love over the years. 19-inch alloy wheels, passive keyless entry, power window controls. Those are one-touch automatic up and down on all 4 doors, power door locks, power mirrors, rear window lock. We have the blind spot monitors, bottle holders there, de-icer, heated steering wheel, auto high beams, fuel tank release, hood release. We do get a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And there's our power driver seat. We get 2-way power lumbar support as well. So love the soft tech seats here. But I have the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, my driving position. Huge shout out to John Roberts Nissan for allowing me to review this Prius today. I'll leave a link below in the description. Let's go ahead and check out this rear seat room. So relatively good space back here. Now the headroom is just suffering a little bit where it slants back. My head's not actually touching the roof line, so that's pretty impressive. There's a view of the front from back here. You have 2 USB-C charge ports down there. Middle seat folds down, bottle holders here. And we do get the premium LED dome lights up top there. Grab handle. Let's just make our way to the back. Gas cap is here. Now to the back end, again, just a great job designing this car. It just looks so sleek. There was a time where the Prius had the reputation for being ugly, and those days are over. Cargo space back here, not bad at all. We have the longer pockets to fit longer items we don't want sliding around. And then the top tethers right here for your car seat. Let's see what's under here. So I'm assuming it's an inflator kit. Can't really get all the way underneath. And then just a quick look underneath the car. There's the exhaust. I'll try to get out this wind as soon as possible. Now the rear seats fold down, just pull here. That'll fold flat and you can run longer objects through. And then it snaps back into place pretty easily. And then here's our manual front passenger seat. So we can pump the seat bottom up or down. We can move it back or forth, and then we can adjust the seat back forward and back as well. Glove compartment here with the owner's manuals. I'm really feeling this trim here with the ambient light. It's pretty neat. Now as we come around to the front, once again, there's that 2-liter, 4-cylinder hybrid setup. I think these are still getting around 50 miles per gallon. I have to see what the real world numbers are, but they're definitely getting crazy fuel economy numbers, as they always have. Leather wrap steering wheel here. There's the horn. Now over here to the screen, let's see if I can turn the brightness up here. All right, so we have the navigation subscription here, which you can get. For audio sources, we get AM, FM, XM radio, Bluetooth audio, and then we also have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. Favorite screen here is the energy flow. I just like to keep an eye on that. Just had to turn the lights off. So all of that available to you. And then in your settings here, you can go through here, change your language and units if you want to. And we have just those 3 choices for the language. But backup camera right here. Volume knob you can adjust. Click there to mute or turn the audio off. You don't actually mute it. Hazards. Now for the climate controls, we do get single zone automatic. You can adjust fan speed, fan direction. 3-stage heated front seats for the driver, front passenger. Cut the whole system off there. Everything else pretty self-explanatory. Defrosters, AC, etc. Now we have 2 USB-C charge ports here. You can use this one for the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and then this one is specifically for charging. 12 volt right there. Storage, when you have your phone plugged in, you can just set it there. And then a little hideaway compartment in there. Bottle holders. Now for the shifter, hit the brake, pull up for reverse, hold there for neutral, drive, and then pull down for that max regen there. Wireless charging pad right there. Now for your drive modes, you do get several. You have your Eco, Normal, Sport, and Comfort. And then you have your EV mode as well when your battery's charged up enough to use that. And then automatic brake hold, electronic parking brake, traction control, center console cubby space with 2 more USB-C charge ports. There's a view of the back seat from up here. Lights there, I love they put those in there. And then we even have the LED reading light up here for your vanity mirror. Now back to the steering wheel. If you look behind here, we can adjust the brightness of the gauge cluster and change the trip meter there to either show the odometer, show how much longer until maintenance is required, so on and so forth. So I'll give you a quick glimpse of that. And then blinkers over here. You can adjust the lights there. And then we do have automatic wipers, 1-time off, auto, low, high. We can adjust that auto sensitivity there. And we can pull up here for the front wiper fluid. Now there's a lot on the actual steering wheel. So this kind of goes through all of this except that Bluetooth button goes through the gauge cluster here when applicable. So we can go through all this, adaptive cruise mode, so on and so forth. You can see the last owner, what kind of fuel economy they were getting. 49.8 miles per gallon. They're pretty impressive again. Around 50 miles per gallon is pretty phenomenal. Now volume can be adjusted there. Voice recognition. And then over here, Toyota Safety Sense, we can go ahead and get that lane centering, lane keep assist, and all of that going. And then we can adjust the gap there, set the cruise, go between the adaptive and the just constant speed control there. And then we can go through our track list, radio station presets here, hit this mode button to go through the audio sources. Push button start. And then here are the key fobs here. And garage door transmitter, if you're curious, is on this rear view mirror. Well, let's go ahead and take this 2023 Prius XLE out on the road for a quick test drive. So starting the test drive here in this Prius, this thing gets up to speed pretty quickly. And I just have it in normal mode here, but with the CVT and having just the torque from the electric motors, and then on top of that, I mean, you have 194 horsepower combined. That's quite a bit for a vehicle this small. And just how it pairs so nicely with the CVT, it kind of whines at you, but it's quick for what it is, very quick for what it is. Now, of course, the driving dynamics with how these are made, the steering is a little bit, it's not flimsy, but it's light, let me put it that way. But still easy to control. It's just something that kind of noticed there. But I have the max regen on. I'm gonna put it into the normal drive mode and then give it a little something coming out of this corner. So again, for what this car is, pretty quick. Man, I've said this in the past few Toyota reviews that I've done. This new cruise control is so just mind-boggling to get going. But once you figure it out, it makes sense. I'm just used to it being easier, where I could just hit the cruise control button and everything was pretty much already ready to go. But here I have to be sure to have the lane centering on and then turn the actual lane keeping system on. But I mean, if you're used to driving this thing, it's not gonna be a big deal. It's just, for someone who drives as many cars as I do, that's something that I've noticed is not as easy as it usually is. But overall, just the feel of this car, I see why I haven't been able to review one at the John Roberts Toyota store in so long, because as soon as they get them, they're sold. And these are relatively inexpensive for what they are. The space in here has come a long way. It's pretty good for this to be a car that gets 50 miles per gallon. And again, these are used for commuter purposes a lot, but I wouldn't mind taking this on a longer road trip. And furthermore, it's just incredible the fuel economy that you get with something that can also be pretty quick when you need it to be. Now, one of the cool things about these is when you're not giving them power, especially with the CVT, it keeps that paired with the engine, the entire setup, it stays very quiet. So I can hear the engine just a tad, but most of the noise is coming from this rocky road here. And even though it's extremely windy out, not hearing a lot of that now, but we'll test that out when we get on the interstate. And forward visibility is pretty good. The gauge cluster kind of intrudes on that a little bit, but not really anything to complain about. It's not really messing with me, but it is there. And it makes it almost feel like a heads-up display, so it was smart how they did that, but it can be a bit distracting. But where it's right in front of you, you can still see the road, pay attention to what's going on. So I feel like they thought of pretty much everything in this car. And it's just come a long way from the older Prius, I think. And the older Priuses were actually very good. But this is, it's pretty much exceptional. But to be the name brand hybrid vehicle that everyone knows about, you have pretty high standards when it comes to how you make your vehicles. Now we're gonna put it in a sport mode, see how it reacts there, and then floor it getting on the interstate. All right, here we go. Wow. I mean, the thing is quick. Now, it doesn't like getting fast, but it can get fast. Oh, that was pretty funny. Let's put it in the eco mode and then turn the safety suite on here. Now I will say, it's just a very impressive car. I mean, you get up to speed quickly when you need it. You're pretty much fuel efficient the other 98% of the time when you're just driving around town or just cruising. And I mean, you have Toyota Safety Sense, which is phenomenal. The lane keeping system, the adaptive cruise control. This updated infotainment system, it's still, Toyota's audio systems are not the greatest to look at, but they do everything that they need to do, and they're very simple to use. HVAC controls I like. This feels like what a Prius always should have been. But I mean, the Prius has always kept up with the times, I think, in terms of just, you know, you had the speedometer right in front of you, even back in the 04 models and things of that nature, and something was over here. There was just so much going on. But you still have that same futuristic feeling here. It just makes a lot more sense. And I feel like it's a lot more refined, just with the features that come on it, how it drives. Of course, the fuel economy is still spectacular. But this is something that I would not mind buying for myself, especially if I get it for a good enough price. And these have been priced pretty well. Now, of course, they're not as cheap as they used to be in 2004. So if you're going to compare it to that, I mean, it's not a fair comparison, but just with what you get here, it's just a very impressive car. Probably about a 9, it's about a 9.8 for me, just off of my first impressions driving this thing and getting a feel for it. I mean, I can't find anything to complain about, really. They just did a great job with this car. And with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Toyota Prius in the XLE trim level.